The Gemara says in Megilla, Taftal and Aleph, Rav Shua Levi, Chayiv Adam Lichtenstein Megilla Balayla, for the Shanoisa B'Yoyim. Person has to lay in the Megilla at night, for the Shanoisa B'Yoyim. Now, exactly what it means for the Shanoisa, we'll see in a second. Shanemar, Alakai Ekra Yomam V'Laisana, V'Layla V'Lay Dumili. By day, I call out to Hashem, but it didn't answer me. V'Layla, and at night, V'Lay Dumili, and I wasn't quiet. Savra Minei, the Talmidim who heard, they thought the Mikre V'Layla, to read it at night, V'Lamisna Masnitin Dida B'Yamama, and to learn Mishnayos, Masechtas Megillah by day. I guess it wasn't set in those days exactly you lay in the Megillah at night and by day. Talmidim thought it meant to say was you lay in the Megillah at night and by day you learn the Mishnayos and Masechtas Megillah. Amar Lahu Rabbi Yirmiyah, the Dedi Mefashel Liminei to Rabbi Bar Abba. I heard Pshat from Rabbi Bar Abba Kigoin the Omri Inchi Ha'avar Pashasa Da Ve'esnei. I'll go over it again and I'll learn it. Meaning, it doesn't mean Lushanoisa does not mean to learn Mishnayos. Lushanoisa means to repeat it, to go over it again. So we do it at night, Megillah, and we do it again by day. From this Gemara is mashma that the Ikar Chi of Kriyas and Megillah is at night. By day, you repeat it a second time, Lushanoisa. We'll see soon that's not that way. But when you read the Gemara itself is mashma, Ikar Chi was at night. Even at half a minute, by day you don't lay the Megillah at all. By day, all you do is you learn the Mishnayos. And then he says, no, by day, you repeat it a second time.
What Mishnayos are you talking about?
Masechtas Megillah. Itman Nami, the Gemara brings another right. Omer Chelbay, Omer Ula, Vira, Chayiv Adam Lichtenstein Megillah Balayla. You're mechuyev to read the Megillah at night, for the Shanoisa B'Yom, and to repeat it again by day. Shenemar, he brings a different pasuk. The mind is the Mecha Chabad V'Lo Yidoim, Hashem Alakai, the Olam Adeka, which is what we say in Mizmor Shir every day. The Rashi says, "Is a Mecha Chabad B'Yom, V'Lo Yidoim Balayla," and the pasuk is talking about. Says, "Mizmor Aimimcha Hashem Kidil Lisani, Tashina V'Psikta, V'Mordcha V'Ester V'Hama V'Achashverosh." So the Mizmor Shir that we have, in the Psikta, adaptions that it's going on, the Nes of Purim, Mizmor Shir Chanukah Sabayis. And there it says, the mind is Mecha Chabad V'Lo Yidoim, therefore, we say, by day and by night, you have to lay in the Megillah. That's the Gemara. Now, Tosfos says, on the Gemara, Chayiv Adam Lichtenstein Megillah Balayla, L'Shanoisa B'Yom, to repeat it by day. Oimeri, Da'af Agafta Mevorach is Man Balayla, we make a Shachiyanu at night, on Kriyas Megillah. Chayzir U'Mevorach Oise B'Yom. Again, by day, you make a Shachiyanu on the Megillah. As you make a Shachiyanu at night in the Megillah, you do it again by day, you make a Shachiyanu again by day at the Megillah. Even though you lay in the Megillah at night already. Why? Why is that? We don't find that in any other mitzvah that you do it a second time, you make a Shachiyanu again. You make one Shachiyanu on the mitzvah, and when you do it a second time, you never make a new Shachiyanu. Says by Mikra Megillah it's different. Why? The Ikar Tue May Nisa Hava B'Kriya D'Yamama. The main Pirsim Hanes is by day. Ikar Tue May Nisa Hava B'Kriya D'Yamama. And it says Kra Nami Mashma Kain. The pasuk is also mashma that way. Why? The Chesira says in the pasuk, V'Layla V'Lo Dumili. I did it by day, and also at night V'Lo Dumili, and I'm not quiet. That means the Ikar Chiyuv is by day. At night I also do it V'Lo Dumili. That's what Tosfos says. K'laymer Afagav Shakayra B'Yom Chayev Lichreis Balayla. You have to lay in again by day. V'Ikar Hava B'Yamama. That's Tosfos. Tosfos comes up with a chiddush. They lay Megillah twice, once at night and once by day. Since the Ikar Chiyuv is by day, therefore you make a Shachiyanu again when you lay in it by day.
Why is it more by
There's more people around than at night.
People are not sure more people
Yeah.
at night.
Today.
The Rambam is full on that, right? The Rambam
Yeah.
holds different.
About that.
So you don't make Shachiyanu again.
By day.
By
Right,
day.
yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to that. So there's more people by day, people are around. Today it's different, because today we have electricity and everyone's out at night. But there used to be Pesum Melissa. The main Pesum Melissa was by day. Not everybody. You see in Allah a lot that not everybody came to shul Friday night.
Who's the Pesumim
Of course.
The guy you want to
No. For Klal Yisrael.
For the ones who are anyway sitting in the shul.
But not everybody came to shul Friday night. Now you take it for granted. Everyone to shul.
It was a key if everyone to come.
Yeah, but the question of everybody came anyway. Some people couldn't come. Some people couldn't come. You find that halacha, right? By or you find it by Mashav Baruch and Geshem, right? You start saying it when? By day. Why by day? Why not at night? At night we should start saying it. And the reason is because at night people weren't in shul. So they're not going to know that you started saying it again. You changed from Mashav Baruch to Moiratal, whatever it is. You're not going to know different. People aren't going to know. And they say by Shachris you don't do it because people are going to get confused. Maybe you did it by night. So Shachris...
People come late also.
Yeah, not that late. Not that late. That's not the reason why. That's not the reason why. Not for
They don't come late, they start late.
You start late. Yeah, if you're the Lubavitcher that comes late, it's by mincha time already. So they... So the reason why they didn't do it Shachris either is because they didn't know when they changed. The Shachris we have in the old way. Musaf, we changed. You see, people weren't around at night. So they can assume this is by day. That's what Taisa says. And therefore you make a bracha, a shachianu at night, and a shachianu by day. Now, not everybody agrees to that. The Rambam argues, the Rambam says, no, you make a shachianu at night, a kriyas Megilla, you don't make a shachianu again by day. The Mechaber Paskins and Tafrei Shadik Beis, HaKoyes Megilla Mevorach Lefanea, Shloisha Brachas Amikra Megilla B'Shas Anisim, Shachianu, Ubayayim, Einoi Chayzir Mevorach Shachianu. Mechaber, passing like the Rambam, Sfardim, don't make another Shachianu by day. Says the Ramah, V'yeshayimrim, the Af B'yayim Mevorach Shachianu. Even by day you make a Shachianu.
Maybe that's why we have in mind those other two things.
That's not the reason we have it in mind.
Could be,
no, we make Shachianu anyway. When you make Shachianu, you should have in mind.
Right?
Yeah, because you don't make a separate Shachianu on those things. But not because otherwise Shachianu is Levatala. Not because of that.
Since it's a suffix, it doesn't hurt to...
We don't find that.
It's like Shachianu with the fruit and Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, but we don't find that in Allah. Maybe if someone wants to make it a chumrah, he could make it as a chumrah. Allah, we don't find it. That you make a Shachianu in the morning. Now, if you look in the Mishnah brings down the reasoning, you know, the Rambam's reasoning, Eine Chayzer Mevorech, the Rekvar Birich, Balayla. You made a bracha Shachianu at night. V'tam, Hadei Shniya, the Severes, the Af B'yoim, you make it, the Iker Mitzvah Kriyasa B'yoim Hu, the Iker Mitzvah Kriyasa Megillah is by day. Now the question is, where do we find such a thing, that if you Mekayim a Mitzvah, you have to learn Megillah at night. You have to learn the Megillah by day. But the Iker Mitzvah is by day, even though you did it already at night, you still make a Shachianu. Why? Pashas is learned because it's a better Mitzvah. At night you Mekayim Megillah, okay, fine. But by day is the main Mitzvah. The main Mitzvah you make a Shachianu. Why? How does that work? The main Mitzvah you make a Shachianu. So the truth is, we find a similar thing by Chanukah. If someone was, the first night Chanukah, somebody didn't have neighbors, and he couldn't light. The halacha is you make a bracha on Re'iyah. You see somebody else's Ner Chanukah, you make a bracha just on the seeing of the Ner Chanukah, Sh'os Anisim, and a Shachianu. And a Shachianu you make on the Re'iyah. Now if someone did that the first night, it comes the second night, Chanukah. Now he has candles, and he's lighting the candles the second night. Should he make a Shachianu the second night or not?
He already made the first night?
He already made the first night on the Re'iyah. On the Re'iyah. Should he make a Shachianu the second night when he's lighting the candles? If you would have asked me, I would have said, according to Taisvis, for sure you should make a Shachianu. The first night was on the Re'iyah, which is not the Iker Mitzvah. The second night is on the Hadlaka, which is the Iker Mitzvah. So sure you should make a Shachianu. The problem is, you look in Hilchos Chanukah, it says not the way. If you look in Hilchos Chanukah, it says, Mishla Hidlik, Ve'eni Osab Lahadlik Voisi Alaylo, someone who didn't light and is not gonna light the first night, the first night, no one in his house is being moistened with the brachas. The first night he makes Shasanisim and a Shechayanu. The different night he ends up lighting. He doesn't make a new Shechayanu. Why not? Why is Hadlokas Neiris different than Kriyas Megillah? Kriyas Megillah, you lane Megillah the first night. No, the main mitzvah is by day. Mashayin came by Hadlokas Neiris. He made a bracha on the Re'iyah, which is not the Ikar mitzvah. The next night you do the Ikar mitzvah, and the next night you don't make a bracha, a Shechayanu. Why not? What's the difference?
The Re'iyah is part of the business, huh? Let me ask a question. If a blind person light candles with a Shechayanu?
If he's lighting it, yeah.
Lighting.
He's lighting it, but can't do the
He doesn't
Re'iyah.
have to see it?
And Mr. Bruce says the reason why you don't make a bracha again the second night, he made a bracha last night, Shechayanu, when he saw the Neiris. So why is this different than Purim? That's the question. Why is it different than Purim? So, in the beginning I wanted to say, I was thinking maybe the answer would be that by Hadlokas Ner Chanukah we find that we don't always make Shechayanu on every mitzvah. Not every mitzvah do you make a Shechayanu. In a lulav you make a Shechayanu, in a shofar you make a Shechayanu. By Ner Chanukah there's a question, if someone didn't make a Shechayanu all the nights of Chanukah, he forgot every single night, he forgot to make Shechayanu. He's holding the 8th day, and then he remembers I didn't make a Shechayanu. Is he allowed to make a Shechayanu now? Is he allowed to make a Shechayanu on the Yom of Chanukah? We find Yom Tif, all Yom Tov, we make a Shechayanu. Besides the mitzvahs Hayom, Sukkah, Lulav, Shofar, besides the mitzvahs, there's a Shechayanu on the Yom Tov itself. On the Yom Tov itself, you make a Shechayanu. Right? You make a Shechayanu on the Lulav, still you make a Shechayanu on the Yom Tov. We find there's a Shechayanu on the day itself. The question is, do you have the Chanukah also or not? So Sharat C brings down from.
What? Sorry? Yeah.
Do you have the by Chanukah the same thing?
Or what?
Or Purim.
Do you make it on
We know on the Yom Tovim De'Oraisis, you make a Shechayanu on the day. Yom Kippur, right? Yom Kippur is no mitzvah hayom. You just don't need. So you can't make a Shechayanu on any mitzvahs. So what do? Make a Shechayanu in shul on the Yom without a kais, right?
Yeah, but on Pesach you only make it at night.
There's no mitzvahs by day.
Sukkah is also by night.
Yes, but you have lulav by day, so you make a Shechayanu on the lulav. Anytime besides the mitzvahs hayom, there's also a Shechayanu by all Yom Tovim on the day. The day itself is mechayev a Shechayanu. If someone's not going to have a sukkah on sukkah, he's part of from sukkah. He's not going to have a lulav. He's not going to make kiddush. Doesn't have a place to make kiddush. He'll make a Shechayanu on the day. The question is by Chanukah. Do you make Shechayanu on the day itself? So Mendel says no. So the Shus Yaakov.
But I think we hope we don't.
So the Shus Yaakov says like this.
We don't. I know.
Im Irizeh, B'leil Shemini, U'meli Yispatu L'gamri B'richa Shechayanu. If it happens the 8th night, the person forgot to make Shechayanu until the 8th night of Chanukah, and now he remembers. What should he do? Should he make Shechayanu on the day or not? Tzarech Ian. The after could be the K'moi Ba'al Makayim Alon. The Zman Oimrei Afilu B'Shuk. The Zman Shechayanu. You say even B'Shuk. You're making it on the Yom Tiv, on the day of the Yom Tiv. To Koyal Etzem HaYom Tiv, it's going on the Yom Tiv itself. Efshir Duhadim Bezeh. The Koyal Etzem Hazman the Chanukah. Shenasu by Nisav and the Flois. The Shechayanu do we make a Chanukah? We're not making a Shechayanu on that block of Neirus. We're making a Shechayanu on the Yom Tiv. Elo the Lechatchila Samchu Zeh al Zman dat blocker. When you make a Zman on that blocker, so we say, make this man then for the Yom Tiv. Uchen So v'rosei nimtze b'meiri, mishein lahadlik ve'ein mokim she'efshel la'lira is ha'imim she'mevarach la'atzmai, sh'asanisim v'shechiyanu b'layla aleph.
Let's say you're traveling, and you can light candles and you can't see nothing the
Right.
first day. Do you make shechiyanu the first day?
No, because you
Why
do it
not?
the second day.
Let's say you die.
Let's say
When you die.
you're not choshesh for death.
No,
We're not choshesh for
no,
death.
but you haven't been.
Generally
You
not
can't.
choshesh.
Yeah, we're not choshesh. We try to do it. We try to do it on.
Even if
on
the doctor tells you you're going to die before tomorrow, you're still not choshesh for
Yeah,
death,
yeah,
right?
we're not choshesh for death.
No, but you have a mitzvah. You have an opportunity. You shouldn't delay the mitzvah. If it's on the yom, you do it right away.
Oh, okay, very good, very good.
What's his head?
So that's the shayla there. What's this question? Why is it different than every Yom Tov? Every Yom Tov, we know you make a bracha on a day. The Shua Yaakov has here, Tzarchi is not sure. And it brings him Iri, the Iri says that you make a Shechiyanu. Even if there's no, you have no Re'iyah, you don't see neighbors, and you're allowing that you make Shechiyanu on the day. The Shua Yaakov says Tzarchi. What's the Tzarchi? Why is it different than every Yom Tov? So it could be two things. One thing is every Yom Tov is an Issa Siyas Malacha. It's different. The day itself is a whole different day. Because it's also a Siyas Malacha, so you can make a Shechiyanu on the day. But it could be Chanukah and Purim, where there's no Issa Siyas Malacha, there's no Shechiyanu on the day. There's no Shechiyanu on the day, maybe. Huh? Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yes,
We'll get to everything. We'll get to everything. We'll get to everything. We'll get to everything. That's one reason why maybe you don't make a Shechiyanu. I'm going to start the Chappos the Hoshirs. That's one reason why you don't make a Shechiyanu on Chanukah and Purim. There is a tzad to do. The Ma'aser halacha, we don't make a Shechiyanu because it's a suffix. Suffix bracha slach. So someone passed 8 days Chanukah, forgot to make a Shechiyanu. The suffix, the Shua Yaakov brings a suffix if you make a Shechiyanu now or not. Tzarchiyin, we won't make a bracha because it's a suffix. Not because it's a machlokes. Because it's a suffix. We don't know. Shua Yaakov himself says Tzarchiyin. But you definitely see he holds that the Shechiyanu you're making by Chanukah, lav dafka it's on the Yom. It could be it's on that blockers nearest Chanukah. He's not sure.
Is it also possible there's a tzad to say by Purim and Chanukah it's a Shechiyanu than Yeshua? By Purim and Chanukah there's a Yeshua Hatzalah.
Right.
So Shechiyanu that he saved us. Whereas at the other times...
The Pesach, you don't have that?
Hanukkah wasn't on light. It was on timers.
Right, Hanukkah was on the Guf. Hanukkah was on the Ruchnis.
I'm thinking the other ones are more like Kedushas as we're entering into a
the Pashto Shechiyan on Yom Tov is Kedusha Zman. That we live to have this holy day. So here has a Shalom B'Chanukah. The same question will be on Purim. Maybe the same question on Purim. They make Shechiyan on the day. So can't lay in the Megillah. Has no Megillah. He's not going to receive the Mitzvah Yoyim. Does he make Shechiyan on Purim? Or does he not? That could be the same question as the Shua Yaakov.
And you can't do the other mitzvahs either.
You can't do the
Shlachmanas.
right, none of the other mitzvahs. Shlachmanas can't do any of the mitzvahs. He's by himself on an island somewhere, and does he make Shechiyan on Purim? It could be the same question as the Shua Yaakov. Could be, but it could be not. It could be the difference. The difference is like this. This that we said till now, that Taisa says that we start off with a question. Why by Chanukah, if you see the first night, you make a Shechiyanu. The second night at block you don't make a Shechiyanu. On Purim, you make a bracha at night, you still make a bracha by day. Why is that? So we see that the mitzvah of Leil Purim and the mitzvah of Yom Purim is a big difference between the two of them. And the Chayim speak this out. Meaning, there's a machlokes. What's the reason why on Purim there's no Sveika D'Yoma? Every mitzvah is Sveika D'Yoma. Sukkot, Pesach, every Yom Tov is Sveika D'Yoma. You keep 2 days. Purim and Chanukah we don't keep 2 days. So in Chanukah, everyone says, you know why you don't keep 2 days? You don't keep Sveika D'Yoma on Chanukah? Is because it's a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. A mitzvah d'Rabbanan we don't keep 2 days. Only a mitzvah d'Oraisis. That's by Chanukah. By Purim we see other answers. By Purim, the Mordechai says, "Umashle nogu likras Megilla yom Yudalev yom Tezvav misafik, bisman hazeh, kedavdine b'yamtiv, like you're doing every yamtiv. He doesn't say because it's derabbanan, like Chanukah. He doesn't say that. Yesh loymar mishum nedilmo yudal nikfa bismanoi, v'ikevet has vav mishum v'lo yavor. It says you do on your dalit v'lo yavor. It says you can't go past it. So it says therefore it could be there's an issa of Baal Tosef. On a regular Yom Tif, there's no issa of Baal Tosef. There's no din of v'lo yavor. Yeah, for us. No, but for us, we have to do it on that day. We can't lay it on Tezvav, but Yerushalayim, but Shushan, they lay it. But v'lo yavor means you can't go past that day. Whatever the day is, you can't go past that day. So we're not in Yerushalayim, we're doing your dalit. So v'lo yavor, you can't go past it. So it says maybe an issa of Baal Tosef. That's what the Baruch says. It doesn't say because there's an issa d'Rabbanan. It doesn't say that. Now, the Eli Rabbah brings down the Mordechai, but he brings down the Kolbai also. The Kolbai says, he brings down the Mordechai, what like Kirina b'tavayim m'sirek d'yemik d'avdin b'yamtiv, t'chshiv v'la yavar, Mordechai, the Kolbai mitaretz, oid, fi she'ein elam d'vrayhem. Purim is only, Mikra Megillah is only a mitzvah midivrayhem, mitzvah d'Rabbanan. A mitzvah d'Rabbanan we don't make a seika d'yem. That's what the Kolbai says. That's why Chanukah we don't make a seika d'yem. It's a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. What happened to the Mordechai? Why didn't the Mordechai say the same reason? Because it's a mitzvah that's only midrabanan. He says a different reason. V'lo yavor, you can't go past it. You may be over Baal Tosef. What happened to the very simple reason? It's a d'Rabbanan. So the truth is, in halacha we see that Purim is not considered a d'Rabbanan. In halacha we see Purim is considered a d'Oraisa. Where do we see it? Where do we see that it's a d'Oraisa? It says in halacha. It says in halacha. The Mechaber brings it down in Tafrei Tzadik Vav Siv Zayin. Yesh mi she'omer she'oinin muter bebasa b'yayin. An oinin, someone whose a relative died, and before they're buried. So it's muter till the burial. We called it oinin. So at that time, you're not allowed to eat basa b'yayin.
Not in evening.
Huh?
Not in the evening.
So by day. So by day. By day.
This is exactly what we were talking about before. We were talking about this exact thing that you're going to say now.
Oh, let's see. Okay, so very good. So now maybe we'll explain a little more.
Yeah.
Fine. She'oinin muter basa v'yayin. An oinin is allowed to eat basa v'yayin by day, Purim by day. So they also say the yochid avelis. So I say a yochid is a single person, avelis. V'dochi I say the rabbim. I say the rabbim means everyone is mechuyev in the mitzvah of Sudas Purim, the Oiraisa. Says the Mechaber, it's an Asay the Oiraisa to have Basa v'yayin on Purim, the Smoyach bePurim. Why? The Divrei Kabbalah Ninu, Shehem Kedivrei Torah. Divrei Kabbalah. What does it mean? There's 3 levels. There's something called a Oiraisa, says in the Torah. Divrei Kabbalah, Megilla is called Divrei Kabbalah. It was given by Nevi'im. Then you have the Rabbanans. So Divrei Kabbalah has a din like a d'oraisa. So if you want to eat, if an oinin doesn't want to eat basa v'yayin, doesn't want to be included in Tzidkas Purim, what's he doing? He's taking the mitzvah to Rabbim, and he's pushing it away because of a mitzvah to Yachid. Now if the mitzvah to Rabbim would have been a d'Rabbanan, they would have pushed it away. Says the Mechaber, no, it's a d'oraisa. Because Divrei Kabbalah Ninu, Shehem Kedivrei Torah. And that says the Ramah, V'kol shkit shechai b'mikra Megilla b'tfila b'kriyishma. Now says the Ramah something else. Literally, the dafka b'layla. Afa pisha mesa muta lefonov. Abba yoyim shroitza l'koivrei. Okay, this is something else. First one is koidim. This is something else. That's Mikra Megilla. So the Mechaber says that since it's the d'oraisa, therefore we push away aninus for it, and the person is mechuyev to eat basa v'yayin on Purim even though it's an oinin. So you see it's a d'oraisa. That's why the Mordechai didn't say, you know why we don't lane the Megillah Tzveika d'Yema? He doesn't say the Kolbai is because it's the Rabbanan, because he may hold it's d'oraisa, Divrei Kabbalah. Divrei Kabbalah is a d'oraisa, it's not a Rabbanan. So now, this whole din, that it's Divrei Kabbalah, so that Noda Yehuda says that we learn the Megillah at night and we learn it again by day. Now, where do we know it from? We know it from the pasuk. The pasuk says, right? The Lichtenstein speaks out. Elakai ekru yemam v'lo sana v'layla v'lo demili. So, Noda Yehuda says that the Ikka mitzvah by day means that by day it's called Divrei Kabbalah. It's called Divrei Kabbalah by day. It means when Esther and Mordechai decided to make Purim a Yom Tif, they made it by day, Divrei Kabbalah. Now we're learning out from the pasuk that we're learning out that you should learn it at night also. That's where they did the Rabbanan. That's not what Esther and Mordechai instituted. They instituted to learn it by day, to learn the Megillah by day, not at night. Tosfos says, what's the reason for that? The Ikki Pesumah Nissa is by day. Tosfos is mashma, there's two mitzvahs, by day and by night, but the main thing is by day. The Noda Yehuda is not the way. I'm not sure if he's learning it into Tosfos or he's arguing with Tosfos. He says the main mitzvah is by day, meaning by day it's Divrei Kabbalah. By night, it's only a D'Rabbanan. What's the difference between a D'Rabbanan and Divrei Kabbalah? Divrei Kabbalah is much stronger than a D'Rabbanan. A D'Rabbanan, you push away. Someone's earning at night, he doesn't have to eat Basar V'Yayin. Why? Because it's only a mitzvah D'Rabbanan. By day, it's a mitzvah of Divrei Kabbalah. It's much stronger. It's much stronger. It's Divrei Kabbalah. Divrei Kabbalah doesn't push away aninus.
Why do we do it at night?
Because we learn that from the pasuk. Kai ekru yemam v'lo sana v'layla demili.
Mrs. Hayayim. Sudas for sure. On a concept item are actually said by Mordechai and Esther in the Megillah.
Right.
They don't mention it all in the Megillah.
Oh, Kriyas Megillah. Correct. So we learn that.
From Pasuk in the Hill, said by David Amala.
That's right.
Years earlier.
Right. We dashed that pasuk, but that's only for at night. They have to lay Megillah b'chlal. We learn out from Esther itself.
In the daytime.
It's Psukim, yeah. The Psukim we learn out from the Megillah itself. You have to lay in the Megillah.
From Bismano.
From Bismano, yeah. We learn out. The Gemara learns out from the Megillah itself. The chiv to lay in the Megillah.
That is said in the Megillah to read the Megillah.
Right, in the Megillah to read the Megillah, and that was done by Esther and Mordechai to read the Megillah. Now, what?
At night?
So the Noda Yehuda is saying that was said for by day.
Yeah.
For by day. By night, later on, Midrabanan, they instituted to lay in the night also, and there was Soimecha on the Pasuk in Tehillim. Smachta, yeah, it can't be a real drasha.
So the Megillah calls Purim a Yom Tov, right?
Yeah.
So
Yom Tov, maybe not Yom Tov. Calls Mishnah L'Simcha. It says Yom Tov, but they only Mechaba Mishnah L'Simcha. Maybe we'll do that for next week, exactly what the difference is. But so the Noda Yehuda says, and a lot of Chaim go with this, that by day it's the Divrei Kabbalah. It's learned out from Mordechai and Esther. You have to learn the Megillah. You have to learn the Megillah once. When? By day. At night, it's called a Din D'Rabbanan. So if that's the case, getting back to the original question, why by Mikra Megillah, you make a Shechianu at night, you make it again by day. But by Neres Chanukah, when you see the Neres Chanukah, you make a Shechianu, you don't make another Shechianu when you light it. And the answer is because it's two different mitzvahs of Mikra Megillah. One's a mitzvah D'Rabbanan, and one's a mitzvah D'Oraisa. It's Kabbalah, but it's a din like a D'Oraisa. So the Kriyas Megillah by day has a din like a D'Oraisa. The Kriyas Megillah by night is a din D'Rabbanan. So it's two different mitzvahs totally. So you make a Shechianu at night on a mitzvah D'Rabbanan. You make a Shechianu by day on something that we're going to call a mitzvah D'Oraisa, because Divrei Kabbalah has a din like a D'Oraisa. So now you can understand why you make another Shechianu. By Ner Chanukah, when you made a bracha on the Re'iyah, it's the same mitzvah. One you saw it, one you lit it, but they're both the same mitzvah, the Rabbanan and Ner Chanukah. Therefore you don't make a new Shechianu. By Shechianu by Purim, The mitzvah by day is a whole different mitzvah.
So you can only make one of the
correct.
Megillas.
Correct.
The day one.
For sure. You can only make one of the Kriyas Megillah. For some reason...
In hospital, whatever. Surgery.
What?
Yes, the surgery they have to have.
Yeah,
He has
yeah.
a choice.
Yeah, for some reason, people may make a bigger deal of the making a Megillah at night than by day. But it shouldn't be the way, it's the opposite. The making a Megillah by day is much more important than the making a Megillah at night. Another nafkamina, they say. Another nafkamina they say is that by mitzvah de'oraisa, there's another halacha. By mitzvah de'oraisa, this week Pasha Zochar we're laying, right? This Shabbos, Pasha Zochar. So usually, when you're laying from the Torah, it's not a chiv de'oraisa. It's a mitzvah d'rabbanan to laying. The Pasha Shvua, even the other Pasha is Shkolim, and the Parah is a Shayla mitzvah de'oraisa or not.
It's on the tzibur more than anything else.
Yeah, it's on the tzibur. Yeah,
It's different right there.
right. But the mitzvah de'oraisa. So the halacha of the Pasha Zochar by any mitzvah de'oraisa. Okay. Don't hesitate. By mitzvahs de'oraisa, we don't rely on a chazaka. Meaning, you have a cotton. Person just became bar mitzvah. He's 13 years old. The mitzvah was last week. He wants to come learn Pasha Zochar this week. We're not going to let him learn Pasha Zochar. Why? Because the halacha is he has to be 13 years old, and he has to have brought shtei sayros, 2 hairs. Now, we don't check everybody. We don't say before you learn Megillah, we don't check. So we say, we go basu chazaka. Chazaka would mean that we assume most people of Bar Mitzvah already brought shtei sayros. So we don't have to check everybody. This that we rely on a chazaka is only by mitzvahs d'rabbanans. By mitzvahs d'oraisa, we don't rely on the chazaka. Therefore, when it comes to Pasha Zochar, I've never yet seen a kid lane, not a kid, a bar mitzvah boy lane. As long as if once he starts growing a beard, then they say he has shtei sayros. But before that, they won't let a bacher lane Pasha Zochar. Why? Because it's d'oraisa. By d'oraisa, we're not sheimich on the chazaka. We don't rely on the chazaka that probably he brought shtei sayros. We don't rely on it.
What if he said he did? We don't believe him.
I don't know. I'm not going to go check it. We don't do it. We don't do it.
You're not going to set a precedent. You get one kid.
Yeah. We don't do it. We don't do it. Today what they say is at least he has to have a full, not a full beard, but he's growing a nice part of his beard in order to
Be different
No, Shefer also we don't lie in the coffin.
So 13-year-old cannot make
No, we won't lie in a 13-year-old to blow Shefer. If you hold the mitzvahs, the shmir, but we don't hold that way. We hold the mitzvahs both, the tki and the shmir. Anything that's d'oraisa, we don't rely on the cotton to be mighty a gadol. Because only, not a cotton, I'm sorry, a bar mitzvah boy. A bar mitzvah boy, suffer cotton. And you rely on the chazaka, by the rice, we don't rely on the chazaka. We don't rely on chazakas by the rice. That's why Pasha Zochar, we're always makbid to have somebody older to learn Pasha Zochar. By Pasha's Shkolim, by Pasha's Achoidish, we're not makbid. Pasha's Para is a machlokes. That's why if you have a mitzvah bacher who wants to lane, Chodesh and Shkolim will let him lane, Zochar, nobody will let him lane. Para, it depends where you are. Most places today won't let a bar mitzvah bacher lane Pasha's Para because we don't rely on the chazaka. Now, when it comes time to Kriyas Megillah, could you rely on the cotton? Could a cotton lane, not a cotton, sorry, a mitzvah bacher lane, a suffer cotton lane? So it depends. It depends. If it's by night, it's a mitzvah d'rabbanan. You can rely on the cotton, on a suffer cotton, on a mitzvah bacher. Masha'en kain, I keep getting mixed up. Masha'en kain by daytime, we won't rely. By daytime, you won't let.
That's how the world.
It depends. It depends who you ask. Most people, even at night, won't let a mitzvah bacher lane.
It always depends.
Depends which
Yeah.
rabbi.
On anything.
But by day,
On anything.
but by day, the Ma'aser, the Mechaber says that day is a din d'oraisa. So it's a Mechaber. Mechaber says it's right. Oh, asay the rabbim d'oraisa. By day it's a din d'oraisa. It's a din d'oraisa. You can't rely on a suffer cotton. You can't rely on the bar mitzvah bacher. At night you could. By day you can't. So you see there's a big difference between the Kriyas Megillah of night and the Kriyas Megillah of day. That's what Kriyas Megillah is in the mitzvah sayim also. There's an Indian to be Mabba Besuda at night also. By day it's much more important. Because by day is the main mitzvah sayim. Fine.